Well, hello once again, beloveds, and welcome to Unity on the Avenue. I'm Reverend Dr. David Goldberg, and what a joy it is to be with you once again as we continue to explore our series on the 5 principles of unity. And as we move into that then, I just want to say, please comment in the section below. Join the conversation. Let us know who you are and where you're joining us from. And as we do every week, I want to share with you who we are. Please join me in consciousness as I share that we are a radically inclusive community that welcomes all people and all relational orientations, and we honor all paths to the divine. So whoever you are, wherever you are, however you identify, you are welcome here. You are a part of our family, and it's a joy and an honor to be with you as we deepen on our spiritual path and learn and grow and expand together. So, as I shared, this is the 5th Sunday as we explore the 5 principles of unity. It's been a great conversation. However you've chosen to engage, whether online or calls or texts or email, thank you for that. That is who we are. We all benefit from that mutually beneficial two-way communication. So, our series has been great. Our classes have been wonderful. We've been taking a deeper dive into those principles the following Wednesday night. So we have one class left this week as we explore the 5th principle of unity, that of action. So we talk about it today. We talk about it even more on Wednesday. Even if you haven't had the opportunity to join us, you're more than welcome. Visit our website, unityontheavenue.org. Let us know you're interested, and we'll make sure that you get the link. And while you're at our website, please go to Contact Us and subscribe to our newsletter so we can be sure to keep in touch with you on a regular basis. You know, January has been so rich and so full for us here at Unity on the Avenue. We have done the 5 weekend talks on the principles of unity. We have also offered the 5 classes the following Wednesday for the deeper dive into the principles. And on top of that, we have had no fewer than 5 special events and activities just during the month of January. We had our New Year's Day online gathering, which was brilliant and so nice to connect with so many beloveds from this community. And then we invited in Reverend Elizabeth Longo to do the burning bowl ceremony, and the following week to lead us in the white stone ceremony. We also held our annual meeting in the month of January, and we created our own sweet, loving lead-in to the National COVID Memorial the night before the election. So 5 talks, 5 classes, 5 special events, and we want you to be connected with that. So unityontheavenue.org, contact us, subscribe to our newsletter. You know, as I share every week, prayer is at the core of everything that we do here at Unity on the Avenue. And I invite you to welcome one of our beloved chaplain prayer partners who will share our statement of faith as well as offer a prayer to set the tone for our service today.
Good morning, Unity on the Avenue, and thank you for joining us. Take a breath and relax into this moment. And join me in a prayer for right thinking and right action by Sue Hoadley, religious science practitioner. There is one intelligence, one mind which is created and infinitely creates all that is. This divine mind flows through all thinking and all action that occurs in its creation. The divine thinker and the divine actor are one with the human thinker and the human actor. There can be absolutely no other power or force successful in opposing the one source. As this is true, it is also true that as I am in harmony with and receptive to the divine, all my thoughts and actions are divinely inspired and guided. As I attune in peace and silence, I hear and know right thought and right action. As I know this to be true for me, I know it is true for all souls, longing for truth and guidance in how to approach the current country situation and world stage, which appear to be fraught with unrest and suffering. I know that as each individual soul entrains with divine vibration, with love and peace and harmony, clear guidance is here. Clear guidance for exactly how to step forward in love and action, how to approach situations where there may be a lack of love, understanding, and care. Each is guided into its authentic expression of compassion and caring, whether it be through quiet inward prayer or outward action. I know that our leaders are guided and governed by this all-powerful source of being. Divine wisdom and harmony are the underlying fabric of all life and prevail above all appearances of unrest and suffering. I am grateful for the upholding of my spirit by knowing of this truth, that there is only one power, and that power is good. I am grateful for the guidance to express this word and for the confidence that it is manifesting in the world now. I am grateful for the beautiful harmony and balance that always restores life to its essential goodness. And so I rest in peace, knowing we are guided, guarded, and governed by loving Source, and so it is.
You with the sad eyes, you might be discouraged, or I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness there inside you makes you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. See your true colors. That's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow. Show me you smiling. You could be happy. Just remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and it's taking all you can bear, just call me up, because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow. I can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, just call me up, because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. See your true colors, that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow. Ooh.
So what a beautiful container our music team continues to provide for us. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Gregg. Thank you, Mailyn. And thank you, Ken, behind the camera. So many beautiful hearts and minds and spirits coming together to allow us to bring you our message of oneness, our message of hope every single week. And now it's time for us to dive into the concept of action. So as we talk about the 5 principles of unity, we've been exploring all month. What are those principles? How do those principles combine to create the denomination, if you will, or the principles of unity? And how does that fit with where I am on my spiritual path? So you see, by those questions that I just offered, we encourage questions within this teaching. We don't claim to have all of the answers, and together we seek those answers that work for the individual as well as for the community and the greater good. So the 5 principles of unity then tend to lean us toward or direct us toward the greater philosophical questions of our existence as spiritual beings having a human experience. You know, we are encouraged to test these principles, to work these principles, to apply these principles, and then watch what happens. So that is what we do with everything. We take it in, we analyze, we think, we process, and we act. So that is what we're talking about today. And what I have shared also is that Charles and Myrtle Fillmore founded Unity, if you will, in 1889. And it was 101 years later, in 1990, that their great-granddaughter, Connie, actually codified the 5 principles. So she was asked to write a story for Unity magazine, and that is the first known publication, if you will, of what became known as the 5 basic principles or the 5 principles of unity. So you may see some different wording along the way. You may see a slightly different nuance or a slightly different emphasis. I would encourage you not to get lost in the weeds. Use whatever word works for you. We are all highly intuitive beings. Feel into your own intuition as to what it means to you and how it is offering to guide and direct you. The other acronym that I shared that was coined by Connie is the acronym of OOMPA. And that was, Oktoberfest, OOMPA, and that is OOMPA. It's 5 letters for the 5 principles. And the first O is omnipresent. It is the one power, the one presence, however you define it, whatever it looks like and feels like to you, that is in, around, and through everything. The omnipresence of spirit. The second O is that of oneness. that it is that one power, that one presence that created and continues to dwell in me and in you, and I am a part of that one power or presence. Whether I refer to the presence as she or he or it, whatever works for you. Again, don't lose the message through the messenger. So we have omnipresent, we have oneness, and then our third week we talked about mind and how everything is created twice, once in mind and then once again in reality. So the shorthand then for omnipresence is God is. The shorthand for oneness is I am. The shorthand for mind is I create. And then we move into the P for prayer. And of course, we talk about I pray. And the importance of prayer and being in that spiritual connection to our interpretation of the divine. And then the fifth letter, then, action, is I act. And that's what we're jumping into today. So as we prepare then to be complete with the month of January and move into the month of February, there are a number of things that we are exploring and that we're asked to explore, right? Whether it is African American or Black History Month. For our sports fans, maybe it's the upcoming Super Bowl. There is always so much to consider and so much that we need and want to process and observe. You know, having just completed the election season and inauguration, it struck me that so many people were referencing Abraham Lincoln and his career and his words and his service and how he led the country as our 16th president through such a conflicted time that was the Civil War. And I just found that I was reading more Lincoln than I had read in a very long time. So I wanted to bring you a bit more research, a bit more context around the 16th president of the United States. Lincoln, of course, is revered, and I so appreciate what I have come to learn of his consciousness, of his tenacity, of his willingness to get up and show up. So along then, my friends, with all of his successes and accolades, please consider this. In 1832, Lincoln lost his job, and he was defeated for the state legislature. In 1833, he failed in business. In 1835, his sweetheart died. In 1836, he had a nervous breakdown. In 1849, he was rejected for land officer in Illinois. In 1854, he was defeated for the U.S. Senate. In 1856, he was defeated for nomination for Vice President of the United States. In 1858, he was again defeated for the U.S. Senate. And finally then, in 1860, he was elected president, the 16th president of the United States. So what we're talking about today, my friends, is action. Action matters. It is our work to get up and show up regardless of the circumstances in which we find ourselves. You see, the universe is always conspiring for our good and always propelling us forward. So we need to know that, we need to feel that, we need to lean into that and allow that to be our story, because that is our birthright, constantly moving forward. So what we're exploring then is knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called truth. And that's not just enough to know it and understand it. We must live what we know. We must live our truth. That's where the rubber hits the road, you see. Through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. This week, we're exploring putting our principles into action. Again, it's not enough to know spiritual truths, to affirm them, to steadfastly believe in them. We must live them out loud. We must live the truth that we know. We must take action. The fifth unity principle states, through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. Through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. Please join me. Through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. One more time with gusto. Through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. Yes, breathe that in, beloveds. Breathe that in. And you see, that is our founders, that is the Fillmores telling us that prayer is absolutely essential, and so is action. Along that same line, Ernest Holmes states, I would rather have one person living the principle than 10,000 who know it at a mind level. So how are you living your thoughts, your beliefs, and what actions are you taking? You see, living unity principles is a way of life, not something we do as a one-off or a multiple-time event. It's reaching out to people you know and to people you don't know, to love them and to be a loving witness to their lives and to help them in ways that are appropriate and meaningful. It involves simply holding the light, holding the mirror so they can remember who they are as beloved and strong children of the Most High. It takes our presence, our time, and our attention. So what of the phrase thoughts and prayers? We have heard way too many times with so many tragedies. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. My thoughts and prayers are with the family. Our thoughts and prayers are with the survivors. Well, it's a way we engage with our higher power. And some suggest that it's powerful and it's helpful, while others say that it's performative sympathy and inaction. Where are you on that spectrum? Where does the phrase thoughts and prayers resonate with you? Let's unpack it just a little bit. I would suggest that it's how we express sorrow, it's how we express sympathy, it's how we express solidarity, and it's the first step toward real-world action. A ministerial colleague is quoted as saying, prayer is necessary and never sufficient. I wish people would stop going to church and start being the church. Instead of thinking and praying, I wish they would vote and act. Or, as some say, I prayed with my feet. Prayer is the first step and not the final step. Some clergy have expressed concern that prayer is sometimes an excuse for inaction. On the contrary, I firmly believe that prayer is a call to action. As part of the home study for the 5-week course we're doing in the 5 Principles of Unity, last week as we were wrapping up prayer and moving into action, I encouraged all of those participating in the class to read the headlines in the news with a different set of eyes. So however you get your news, whether it's through your tablet or old paper form or desktop or phone, however you get your news, this week I want you to pick one headline a week and recognize that it is a prayer request. So however that comes into your consciousness, I would invite you to be with that and pray with and for that. Maybe it's a local person done good. Maybe it is a national problem. Maybe it's an international effort. Whatever it is you see, you make a difference by adding your consciousness and your energy to the conversation. So pick a headline a day, engage in that, send your positive energy, and see what you feel like when we come together next week. You know, speaking of taking action, I am reminded of a 3-year-old in the 1800s who was in his father's barn, and he was playing as children do, and he had a terrible accident. A sharp object hit him in the eye. Initially, they thought that they might be able to save his eye, and it soon became infected, and it traveled to his other eye, and he was blinded for life. No vision at all. And so it became his work to see how he could communicate, being a person who did not have his vision. And so he worked, and so the thinking of the day was the best that everyone could offer is to take regular texts and raise the text. So those without vision were reading a letter at a time. And based on his personal experience then, as he got older, he recognized that that didn't work for him. He didn't understand it. It was hard, as with a number of his friends and colleagues. And so he had a chance meeting with an officer who served with Napoleon. And he communicated with this officer. He said, "How did you communicate with the troops?" Recognizing that in the day, the vast majority of troops were illiterate and couldn't read and write. How did you communicate orders and so forth to the people who needed to know them? And this officer shared with this young man at the time a communication method that they used using a needle to poke holes in paper. They had a consistent language that everyone understood, and it was silent communication. So if the soldiers were reading the communication in the trenches, they didn't have to light a match, they didn't have to speak, it could be silent as well. So this young man took this code, took this new form of language, and continued to develop it. And when he was 16, Louis Braille presented this language, this new form of communication, to his higher ups, if you will, to his teachers and professors at the Paris School for the Blind. And here we are, all of these years later. The language is simply known as Braille. It has been interpreted and is used in every language on the planet, from Albanian to Zulu. And this was created by a 16-year-old who chose to take action to not only make his life better, but make the lives of so many better. You know, I'm reminded also of a more current day story as we head into Super Bowl weekend next week. And the story I wanted to share with you is that of Patrick Mahomes. The 25-year-old identifies as an African American and is the quarterback of the world champion Kansas City Chiefs. They will be defending their Super Bowl title, of course, in next weekend's Super Bowl 55. And when the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl last year, Patrick became only the second African American quarterback to win the world championship and the youngest quarterback in the game's history. Now, he was a triple threat growing up. He was quite an athlete. He played baseball, he played football, he played basketball. And as he progressed in his career, he credited those other sports with helping him with his agility and his speed and his thought process, and helping him be so extraordinarily successful at what he does. Now, perhaps it helps that his father was a major league pitcher. And Patrick was, ironically, in the NFL draft and the Major League Baseball draft when he was eligible in 2017. And in addition to being drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs, he was also drafted by a Major League Baseball team and decided not to pursue that contract. During the workout as part of the Major League Football draft, Patrick's passes were clocked at 60 miles per hour, the fastest passes ever in NFL history. So shortly after being named the most valuable player in Super Bowl 54, he entered into contract negotiations with his team with the Kansas City Chiefs. And shortly thereafter, it was announced that Patrick and the Chiefs inked a 10-year contract worth $447 million with an additional $26 million in bonuses, making Patrick Mahomes the first athlete in history to ink a $500 million contract. Now, being 25 and being a semi-billionaire, he could have rested on his laurels, and he didn't. Tying to his number 15, he created the 15 and the Mahomies Foundation to help kids. And in the wake of George Floyd's murder, he participated in a video asking the commissioner of the National Football League to condemn police brutality. And Patrick also participated in Rock the Vote, a voter registration drive during the past election. So the point here, my friends, is whatever your age, whatever your physical ability, whatever race, whatever orientation, whatever gender identity, whoever you are, the invitation this day is to act. Because you see, you and the divine through you are so much more powerful when you're able to pray and be grounded and move that prayer into action. So ours is to live out loud. Ours is to love outrageously. Corinthians 6:13 reminds us, keep alert, stand firm in your faith, be courageous, be strong. We must walk the talk, using the spiritual tool of affirmation during daily prayer and meditation time. God can work best when you show your willingness to move into action. Please join me in prayer. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Great Spirit, for the ability to move, to shape, to participate, to show up. I am so grateful to know that I am always supported in prayer, that I am also always supported in moving forward into doing what is mine to do. I am blessed to know the balance between being and doing. And I know that as I step into my space of being, that I will move with grace, with ease, with joy, with great flow and love into the space of doing. So we are action-oriented. I know that as we take action, that we do so with grace, with ease, in peace, in joy, with clean energy, with clear intention, knowing what is ours to do as we co-create this magnificent life with the divine. Thank you. All is well. God is magnificent. And so it is. And now it is that time for us to move into that space of conscious giving. For those who continue to provide your gifts and tithes on a regular basis, thank you. It brings us great joy to be able to bring you these services every week. For those of you who haven't stepped into that opportunity yet, this month we're working with a campaign called 5 to Thrive. We invite you to contribute $5 in any way that works for you. You can mail us a check, you can give online, you can text, you can use the mobile app, you can do whatever works for you. Send us $5 and just lean into how that feels to be in that flow. So please take that gift or tithe in your hand, either physically or metaphorically, as we recite the blessing of our gifts and tithes. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Every
Everybody falls sometimes. Gotta find the strength to rise from the ashes and make a new beginning. Anyone can feel the ache. You think it's more than you can take, but you're stronger, stronger than you know. Don't give up now, the sun will soon be shining. You've got to face the clouds to find that silver lining. I've seen dreams that move the mountains, hope that doesn't ever end, even when the sky is falling. I've seen miracles just happen, silent prayers get answered, broken hearts become brand new. That's what faith can do. It doesn't matter what you've heard, impossible is not a word, just a reason that someone may not try. Everybody feels the fear when they decide to take that step out on the water, but it will be all right. Life is so much more than what your eyes are seeing. You will find your way if you keep believing. I've seen dreams that move the mountains, hope that doesn't ever end, even when the sky is falling. I've seen miracles just happen, silent prayers get answered, broken hearts become brand new. That's what faith can do. That's what faith can do. Even if you fall sometimes, you will have the strength to rise.
So thank you. Thank you for being with us through this beautiful series. Thank you to our musicians, to our technicians, to all of you, to the congregants. You are Unity on the Avenue. We love you, we bless you, we honor you. It is a joy to be with you on this path. So please join me as we share our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Go in power. Go in peace.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. The sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea,